You were right. UFOs, even if they are real, will be used to create massive military budgets and huge distractions. What a surprise.
Now listen, Mr. Brand, many other people are keen and they're fond of the idea that the aliens are here now. The aliens are moving their first play. They're making their first move. Now, if that's the case, why now all of a sudden? 2023, they've been visiting us since the 50s, since the 30s, since the 40s. But now all of a sudden they're crashing and we're recovering them. And now all of a sudden they've started launching attacks. I mean, look at this shit. Yeah, it's completely fucking ridiculous. It's hard to even believe. It's extremely hard to believe. It's exactly how Mudahar says it. I just can't understand this for the life of me. Everything that we are presented as epistemological, it's something that we can legitimately observe ourselves. It's something that the government, scientists, organizations that are researching, once they discover something new, they have no problem showing us their empirical evidence, showing us why. Say there's an asteroid barreling towards Earth. Scientists everywhere will take pictures of it and we'll all have proof. We'll all see it moving closer and closer every month. Now tell me why something like a meteor shower in the night sky, we can all observe it, we all look up and see it. Now, these are confirmed things, we have confirmation. But something like this, I mean, if they're straight up saying they've recovered bodies and ships, why wouldn't they share this information? Why wouldn't they make it public? Especially if they're going to tell us that other countries are legitimately under attack. Legitimately. Like Peru, the 6-foot-tall predator aliens slashing bitches' necks and fucking grabbing dudes and peeling their faces. Legitimately. I'm not going for this. I've never been this foolish of a human. It's constant that we're trying to be indoctrinated into things. It's constant that we're being deceived. It's constant that they'll throw out all these nonsensical and random details. Do you want to know what I'm keen on believing about all this space alien information? It's ridiculous. Here's one thing that will help you. Here's an analogy that will help you understand what I'm about to say. At one point on Earth, communication was way different. If you wanted to get a long-range message sent, you would have to send a messenger. That person would either walk, ride on horse, ride on carriage. That person would send a bird. The fastest forms of messaging were sent this way. Say I have a waterway and I have a bottle. I can put my paper in there and send it. But long-distance communication was nigh impossible. Now, without the birds and other methodology for range, if someone were receiving messages, if someone were countering my, let's say, military operations, we were going to war with the country, and everything I did, it's almost like they knew that I was doing it while I was doing it. They knew what I was doing beforehand. It's almost like magic. How do they have such great information? How are they getting such accurate information? Before phones were invented and the media, that sort of communication, it would have been magical. But then eventually, we started having this technology released for public consumption. What I'm trying to say is that the communication game, it was magical. It was so rare for people to have mobile devices. We see videos in the past. We see pictures of the past. We use them to confirm time travelers. But overall, it's just that the public didn't have these sorts of things. Some people did. You see them pull out these giant brick phones. Now it's even more advanced. Everyone's got one. But you can see how something like this, if unbeknownst to everyone, is completely magical. It's really just a technological advancement that was too early to really be disclosed to the public. For years and years and years, they were working on these types of things. Remote communication. Now, I'm going to tell you something crazy. Have you ever heard... No. Before I go into this crazy, I have an even bigger question. UFOs. How do you think that we travel through space? A lot of you that wanna believe in aliens, a lot of you that are like so keen on this idea, you disgust me. But beyond you disgusting me, what do you think space travel is? A lot of people will straight up say it's light speed. They're traveling at light speed. They're so advanced. There are other ways that you can make travel happen at super fast rates than tapping into light speed. How do you even fucking articulate and or deduce how these aliens have been traveling? Well, here's one more realistic example of how intergalactic travel may be advancing. Gravity propulsion. Most people know gravity as the force that attracts one thing to another. The reality of gravity is that one force is attracting one thing to another, but the other force is doing the same exact thing. It's just one's gravity is stronger than the other. And so I dropped the apple. The apple is pulling the ground towards it, but the ground is pulling the apple towards it stronger. Gravity propulsion. Now imagine if I could tap into something far, far away and instantly pull myself towards it. Now, sure, we could argue that they're moving at light speed, but that doesn't mean they're harnessing some form of light energy to move at hyper speed. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that there have been multiple people who went missing. There have been people who magically just up and disappeared, died, who were working on this type of technology on Earth. There's two very big examples. One Chinese woman who she was releasing these documents, papers, her research, her studies on gravity propulsion. She was trying to create something that would emit its own field of gravity and levitate. Now, she literally up and disappears. It's constant. It's normal for great inventions that would completely change the world. It makes sense for corporations or big industries to want to get rid of these people who are trying to literally eradicate their purpose, eradicate their livelihood. Of course, billion-dollar industries don't want people to have a more accessible, cheaper version of what they've got going on. That makes sense. There was a Swedish man, I believe, or maybe it was Norway, somewhere up there in that little belt of Europe. And this man also disappears for similar research. Now, tell me what you think. Do you think they're disappearing because they discovered something? Or do you think they finally made their breakthrough and they're just gonna give up now? To me, it's pretty obvious that all of this information we're being presented about UFOs and aliens, all these videos that we're seeing in the night sky or even daytime of UFOs, it's obvious. It's extremely obvious. They're fake. They're distractions, just like Russell Brand says. That doesn't mean that the technology doesn't exist. But if it did, do you think it would be palpable? Do you think the public would receive that well? Oh, you guys have invented things that are literally beyond my perception? you know how much fear would be instilled in these people? I mean, what do you think we have military bases that are guarded 24/7 and in the middle of nowhere for? Do you not think that we're advancing our technology? Do you seriously think that it's otherworldly rather than they don't want you to know what we're on right now? They don't want you to know where we are at. And you ask, who is they? That's the thing. We really don't know. It's extremely simple for you to say United States government. But both of those cases of that technology that I had brought up, neither were from the United States. You see how applied science divisions will legitimately scalp members of other countries' institutions. For example, we got Oppenheimer from fucking Nazi Germany. Legitimately, it doesn't matter where you're from if you have value to advancing our goals. And so, I'm here to ask you one simple question. Is it aliens or is it man? Do you think that this is an alien invasion, an alien inquisition, alien visitation? Or do you think that it's man-made? Do you think that it's our government doing what they've done all throughout history, all throughout time, and trying to keep us in the dark while they're sitting there thriving, but not only thriving, while they're sitting there perfecting their technology, their art, their tools, their weapons? Which one? Follow me on Instagram. Leave a like and subscribe. Peace out.